we appeared to have all this money, or we appeared to be rich, or we appeared, never talked about anything. You're my dad, and I was having resentment for all the stuff we don't talk about.
And this is some family drama. You don't do this. You don't do this in front of the scenes. This is not right, okay?
My sister's life it's a lot.
Blake Lively, who seemed like Hollywood royalty with flawless red carpet appearances, a magnetic social media presence, and a devoted fan base ready to defend her, hides a fragile side. Behind the glittering facade, a tangled secret lurked, capable of unraveling not only her carefully curated public image, but also her personal life, exposing cracks no one expected.
Everyone's seeing through it. They're seeing through the BS. And, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are seeking gag orders against Baldoni from releasing it.
But the harmony of her family life is far from intact. As the stunning truth crashes into the spotlight, the so-called perfect sister now faces shocking allegations and betrayals no one anticipated. Anyone who believed she had it all is about to witness how ambition can warp reality. This story goes well beyond glamorous selfies and carefully staged interviews. The meltdown has only just begun. For years, whispers followed this Hollywood darling, even as she meticulously built an image of effortless success. Family and friends recalled a teenager who demanded attention at every turn, orchestrating her own popularity campaigns at school with an intensity that made even her closest companions uneasy. Others dismissed her behavior as playful determination, yet it undeniably fueled the meteoric rise that would define her career in entertainment.
I am a huge fan of you.
Oh.
Your movies are so inspiring.
If everyone can tag Justin Baldoni to this video, it would mean the world to me.
I have been trying to reach out to you for the longest. I have everything of you.
Eventually, she stepped into the limelight, starting with minor television gigs before landing a breakout film role that instantly skyrocketed her profile. In interviews, she presented herself as the laid-back, humble girl next door who had just stumbled into fame, yet industry insiders hinted at a far more calculating side. They described endless phone calls, carefully leveraged favors, and relentless networking that left colleagues both impressed and wary of her persistence. From the outside, she appeared perfectly balanced, attending family holidays and sending occasional sentimental messages to reassure everyone that fame hadn't changed her. But behind those gestures lurked an obsession with controlling every narrative about her career. Friends who asked too many questions were subtly but firmly pushed aside, replaced by yes-men who wouldn't challenge her tactics. Despite growing tension within her inner circle, outsiders remained oblivious. Tabloids were dismissed as exaggeration, and fans preferred to believe in a charming star who lit up every red carpet. Yet beneath the glitz, cracks were already forming. The earliest public signs of trouble appeared during a routine family gathering when she arrived late without apology, brushing off questions about her schedule with a dismissive wave. The real problem wasn't her tardiness, it was the sudden, almost alarming fixation she displayed, signaling the start of a deeper pattern of control, obsession, and the first hints of a more serious unraveling to come.
She's not interested in being a part of a team, she just wants to own it.
Her obsession with controlling her brand extended even to family events. She refused to pose for group photos unless everyone adhered to her color-coordinated dress code, snapping at relatives who questioned the demand. That night, she secluded herself in her old bedroom for hours, making hushed, urgent phone calls. Relatives overheard phrases like, "They can't find out and I'm not letting them take what's mine," revealing the intensity of her fixation.
To me last night, you came here, you knew it wasn't going to be easy, we're going to talk about stuff, and you showed up anyways. And you listened. Because I love you.
It's painful. It is painful.
And so despite all of the resentment, to me, at the end of the day, that's what it meant.
One cousin tried to ask about her cryptic remarks, but she quickly shifted the conversation. Over dinner, she launched into a spirited monologue about her next big project, a hush-hush venture she teased as a career-defining role, yet the tension beneath her usual bravado was palpable. She boasted about rumored brand deals, dropped the names of powerful executives, and insisted any negative press was the work of envious haters. Family members exchanged nervous glances, sensing something was off but hesitant to press further. Little did they know, the real storm was approaching. Shortly after that awkward reunion, entertainment blogs began publishing headlines like "Hollywood's sweetheart loses temper on set" and "She's not so innocent after all." At first, fans dismissed these as clickbait, but a troubling behind-the-scenes video soon surfaced showing her berating a makeup artist over a minor mistake, her voice loud and dripping with contempt, starkly contrasting the charming persona adored by the public. Officially, the incident was attributed to exhaustion and personal struggles, and her PR team worked tirelessly to frame her as an overworked star doing her best, yet the footage continued to circulate. Other insiders, speaking anonymously, added fuel to the fire, describing her as moody, demanding, and prone to outbursts when things didn't go her way. Her America sweetheart image began to crumble, though loyal fans clung to the belief she was simply misunderstood, while tabloids eagerly seized every scandalous detail. One pressing question emerged. If she was under so much stress, why did she continue projecting unwavering confidence in interviews and social media? The answer arrived a few weeks later with an even bigger scandal. Allegedly, she convinced her influential agency to fire a rising co-star from their joint project. Leaked emails suggested she felt upstaged and demanded the producers remove the competition, or she would quit. Initially, the claims seemed too extreme to be true, until an audio clip from a high-level executive confirmed that the co-star was indeed removed solely to appease her, revealing a pattern of control and manipulation behind the public-facing charm and demonstrating how far she would go to protect her perceived dominance in the industry. The public outrage over Blake Lively's latest scandal was swift and brutal. Gone were the glowing headlines that once praised her as a humble, charming star. In their place, people saw a calculating figure willing to crush anyone who threatened her spotlight. She attempted to defend herself, claiming she felt unsafe around the co-star she had helped remove, yet she continued attending high-profile events shortly afterward, smiling and waving as if nothing had happened. Critics immediately pointed out the contradiction. If she feared for her safety, why maintain such a visible presence? Fans and bystanders dissected every detail, and her reputation suffered a significant blow. Social media erupted in debates. Was she a victim of circumstance or a self-centered manipulator? With each new leak, public perception tilted further against her. The fallout escalated as industry insiders emerged, some defending her as a professional facing relentless online bullying, while others branded her a skilled puppeteer exploiting Hollywood's obsession with fame. Ex-colleagues recounted stories of backroom power grabs, questionable negotiations, and intimidation tactics that seemed to shadow her at every turn. Producers who once praised her work ethic fell silent, and rumors spread that a major fashion brand had dropped her from an upcoming campaign. Fans were split, half calling her a misunderstood icon, the other half convinced she was Hollywood's ultimate villain. Meanwhile, she maintained a confident facade on social media, posting upbeat messages about self-love and mental wellness, even as insiders whispered she frantically contacted PR specialists to cover up or discredit emerging stories. The more she attempted to control the narrative, the more the internet uncovered fresh details, and the situation escalated into full-blown crisis mode. Following the co-star's firing scandal, a prestigious streaming platform quietly shelved a project in which she was slated for a lead role. Official statements cited creative differences, but insiders suggested the decision stemmed from negative publicity. The ousted co-star filed a lawsuit, claiming they had been defamed and blacklisted based on false accusations, revealing even more court documents containing texts and emails in which Blake allegedly promised favors and threatened to withdraw from lucrative deals if her demands were not met. Slowly, she began to appear less like a starlet caught in drama and more like the architect of an elaborate scheme to sideline anyone in her way. Longtime fans struggled to reconcile this image with the cheerful celebrity they had admired for years, and it wasn't just fans who felt betrayed. Stylists, assistants, and former managers came forward with their own accounts of intimidation. Some signed strict NDAs under duress. Others were instructed to paint a glowing picture of her private life whenever tabloids inquired, regardless of the truth. Even these accounts paled compared to what came next. Lawyers immediately entered the fray, firing off cease and desist letters at influencers who discussed her alleged misdeeds, attempting to stifle rumors. Yet ironically, this strategy only amplified public interest. Curious onlookers devoured every new allegation, convinced that her aggressive attempts to silence discussion meant there was something substantial to hide, further cementing the narrative that Blake was orchestrating a complex, high-stakes web of manipulation behind the scenes. The co-star's lawsuit revealed a trail of unsettling evidence, including voice notes in which Blake ranted about her rightful place in the industry, emails laced with veiled threats, and discussions of using her powerful connections at a talent agency to deliberately sabotage someone's career. As these details surfaced, her once sparkling reputation began to dim, and talk of her emotional distress started to feel hollow. Skeptics pointed out that she continued attending exclusive events, flaunting designer outfits and flashing her signature smile for cameras, all while the co-stars struggled to salvage future opportunities after being systematically cut off by the industry's major players. The power imbalance became impossible to ignore. Public outrage grew, with social media erupting as fans and onlookers dissected every contradictory statement she had ever made. Fan accounts shifted overnight from devoted shrines to scathing exposés of her alleged hypocrisy. Hashtags calling her out began trending, and the press published timelines chronicling her every misstep. Family tensions spilled into the public eye as well. Her parents were bombarded with calls from tabloids seeking exclusive quotes, and distant relatives were cornered for interviews they wanted no part of. Rumors circulated of heated arguments behind closed doors, with Blake demanding that family members publicly defend her or face her wrath. Amid all this chaos, she maintained a seemingly unbothered demeanor in interviews, offering sanitized, vague answers that carefully dodged questions about the lawsuit, though her stiff posture and tense smiles betrayed the pressure she was under. She was playing a high-stakes game of reputation roulette with fans, family, and the entire industry watching closely. Behind the scenes, the family drama reached a boiling point. Insiders claimed she lashed out at relatives who refused to publicly refute the allegations, while some family members felt uneasy defending behavior they couldn't explain or condone, and others sought to stay out of the media circus entirely. She interpreted reluctance as betrayal, allegedly threatening to cut off anyone who didn't comply. One particularly nasty exchange leaked to the press, revealing her insistence that family either stand with her or be considered enemies, leaving the public stunned. Who threatens their own loved ones over a potentially self-inflicted scandal? Yet signs of this behavior had existed for years. Her relentless drive, thirst for control, and whispered stories of backstabbing and manipulation. Observers now weren't just talking about a celebrity meltdown. They were witnessing a family torn apart by someone's all-consuming ambition. Worse, details continued trickling out, raising questions about how far she would go to maintain her squeaky clean image, even if it meant destroying the people closest to her. The final unraveling seemed inevitable. As the dust settled, many wondered whether her career could ever recover from such a public implosion. The lawsuit dragged on, each new court filing chipping away at her credibility. Legal experts speculated that if the case went to trial, emails, recordings, and other documents could confirm she orchestrated a ruthless plan to stay on top at any cost. What confounded the public most was her insistence on portraying herself as the victim, speaking of devastating anxiety and fear, claiming she couldn't function under the weight of harassment, while simultaneously attending premieres, smiling for photo ops, and signing lucrative deals. The contradictions sparked outrage. If she was truly terrified, why remain in the spotlight at every turn? Hollywood is known for being cutthroat, but her downfall serves as a prime example of how power can be exploited behind the scenes. The co-star she targeted spent months regaining a foothold in the industry, while she seemed oblivious to the glaring gap between words and actions. If the ongoing lawsuit proves she manipulated events to blacklist the co-star, her once dazzling reputation may never recover. Even now, rumors suggest she might attempt an out-of-court settlement to avoid further public damage. Such a settlement could hide the ugliest secrets, yet her name would remain linked to deception and betrayal. Even her staunchest fans have begun questioning whether the sweet public persona they adored was ever genuine. Ultimately, the scandal is a cautionary tale about the perils of power, ambition, and blind loyalty. Behind designer outfits and beaming smiles lurk dark truths capable of fracturing a family and tarnishing a career. Her story is far from over, but one message rings loud and clear. Playing the victim may work temporarily, but reality has a way of surfacing. Will she salvage what remains of her image, or sink further into controversy as more revelations unfold? Only time and potentially a brutal court battle will tell. Until then, everyone watching is left to wonder whether her spectacular rise was built on a tower of secrets destined to collapse, exposing the full scope of manipulation, control, and ambition that defined her path to fame.